Hey y'all, Chelsea and Danny here.
Enjoy this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube.
They say conservation starts at home, so this week we'll look at how we can protect our environment and shave your utility bill at the same time.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Real projects for real homeowners with real solutions. Information and inspiration on improving your home from professional remodeler Danny Lipford.
Conservation is a hot topic these days, and organizations all over the globe are undertaking massive campaigns to save our natural resources. Now, we're not going to show you how to replant the rainforest or stop global warming in the next half hour, but we will show you some simple, common methods to help you reduce the amount of energy and water that is wasted at your home every year. Now, saving natural resources and saving on your utility bills can be done without sacrificing comfort in your home. We'll show you how. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Now, one of the resources that we have a tendency just to take for granted is water. Seems to be that it's everywhere. Lakes, streams, oceans, even rainfall. But when you think about what it actually costs to supply all the homes in the country with clean, usable water, then what it costs to treat that water after it goes through all of the sewer systems in order to be released back into the environment, you can see where it can be a very costly procedure. So the smart thing to do is use as little water as we can in our homes. Now, one thing that happens in a lot of homes, people turn on the hot water and they wait and wait and wait for the hot water, particularly if you have a faucet like this that's a long ways away from your water heater location, then all the cold water has to escape from the line before you get the nice warm water. Now, over the years, a number of manufacturers have tried to implement a number of different systems that do work in some cases. Some are instant on-demand type systems that fit under your vanity or in your kitchen cabinets, but it does take up a little bit of room. You have to have a power source. Sometimes that's not the best situation. Now, also, new construction, many recirculation systems are being installed to help circulate that hot water around so that you do have hot water when you want it. But most of those are very hard to put in existing homes. But we found one that works very easily in existing homes. The installation of this recirculation system starts with the addition of a pump to the hot water line at the point that it leaves the water heater. This is powered by a regular house current and uses about the same amount of power as a 55-watt light bulb. It also includes a built-in timer that activates this unit during times of peak use. Next, the special thermal bypass valve is installed under the vanity that is the greatest distance away from the water heater. This allows a small amount of hot water to trickle through to the cold side as it cools and ensures you have hot water when you need it. Now, one of the really nice things about this recirculation system is it takes up almost no room at all. Just a small valve at the back of the vanity and that's it. No power is even required. Now, this is called the Comfort Series Instant Hot Water System from Grundfos, and it costs around $600 installed. Now, the homeowners here will have that instant hot water and won't have to worry about waiting for that water, so they should save a lot on their water bill. But now, if you have children in the house, you may realize sometimes they just don't quite cut the water off, and it'll still be a little water coming out that'll really use a lot of water over a period of time. Now, you might consider a new faucet that's available now that uses some of the same technology and techniques that you've seen in airports for years, and that's motion sensor activity. Now, this particular one from Delta, that's an E-flow faucet, will not turn on unless your hands are under the valve and turns on for 30-second intervals. Also has a temperature control on the top so that you can prevent any scalding from taking place. Now, after you've taken care of this area of your house, you may consider another area of the home that you can really waste a lot of water, and that's with your toilets. If you have an older toilet, you may consider changing it out for a newer one. The newer toilets use only 1.6 gallons of water instead of 3 gallons per flush. This can save you almost half of the water you previously used. Also, make sure the toilet is not leaking from the tank into the bowl. This can happen if the flapper at the bottom of the tank is not sealing up properly, or the float is not adjusted that will allow water to leak into the overflow tube. Now, not all leaks in your home will be as obvious as a toilet leak, but you do need to be concerned about leaky hose bibs or a leaky irrigation system, or if your house is up on piers, you may want to crawl under and make sure there's not an active leak under the house. Now, a foolproof way of telling if you have any leak in your home starts right at your water meter. Go out to the meter and then really pay attention to exactly what the meter says in terms of how much water usage you've had for that month. Then make sure everybody in the home holds off on using the toilet, dishwasher, washing machine, or any item that may use water. Then come back after about an hour and check the meter. If it's in the same place, you're in good shape. If not, you may want to consult with a plumber to take a close look at your home. Now stay with us. Next, we'll look at how you can keep the inside of your home comfortable and still conserve energy.
Get ready to review your fix-it list as Danny and home repair expert Joe Trewini show you this week's simple solution. Brought to you by DuPont Tyvek. Build it once, build it right.
Now, if you have an older piece of furniture like this nightstand that has several drawers in it, it's really a problem if the piece of furniture does not have drawer stops. This can happen, fall right out on the floor, spill everything. But as always, Joe has a solution to this problem.
Well, actually, I've got a couple solutions, and none is simpler than this.
Okay.
Take a small block of wood. This is 1/4-inch plywood, about 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And you see I drilled an off-center hole for a small drywall screw. If you can just hold that drawer for me.
All right.
Just screw this right to the back of the drawer. Just tight enough that it holds it in place. Now you slide in the drawer, and you just rotate that block vertically. So now when you go to open the drawer, the wooden block will hit the face frame and prevent the drawer from falling out.
Okay, and then if you do need to take the drawer out, then just rotating
Turn
it
it
back
down,
down
it slides
you're
right
able to
out.
take it out. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, now another way to solve that problem is with a simple toggle bolt that you can get at any hardware store. And I took this and I drilled 2 small holes for screws. And what you do is you just screw it right to the back of the drawer and then push down the spring-loaded wing, slide the drawer into place, and when it pops up, it'll hit the face frame and hold the drawer in place.
Okay, I can see where that would work pretty well. But what about one of these big, wide drawers? What do you do then?
Well, one stop like this works great on a drawer about this size. If it's wider than about 2 feet or so, I'd recommend using 2 stops, one near each corner, and that'll keep the drawer from sliding out of the cabinet.
I see. Now, in the earlier part of the show, we looked at how you can save on water around your home. But as far as energy goes, most of the energy that you use around your home is used to make you feel nice and comfortable on the inside. Warmer during the winter, cooler during the summer. Now, one way you can do that at any entryway that you have is the installation of a storm door. Now, storm doors range anywhere from $60 to $400 depending on the quality and the style that you select, but basically they do the same thing. They create a layer of air or an envelope of air between the door and your existing door to really insulate you from the outside influences. Also, when you're talking about door, make sure your weather stripping and your thresholds in good working order so that you really seal out all those outside influences. Also, make sure you check for any cracks around your home, around hose bibs, dryer vents, or almost any place that air can affect your inside comfortable living space. One area also to pay a lot of attention to around the home: windows. Now, you can put storm windows on just like we did with the entryway that creates that layer of air, but that can get expensive. One way to achieve the same results and a little more reasonable is to apply a thin layer of plastic on the inside of your windows. Of course, this will be taken down at the end of the winter season, but it's very easy to install and actually comes in a kit called a window roll-on kit. This kit costs about $15, which will cover 5 average windows. Begin by cleaning the window trim with the alcohol wipes included in the kit. Then apply the double stick tape to the sides and bottom of the window trim. Next is the plastic film, which has a pre-taped edge. You start by applying it in the upper left-hand corner, allowing a couple of inches overhang on both sides. Remove the backing on the double stick tape, then unfold the film, pressing it into place. Then use a handheld hairdryer to remove any wrinkles or creases, effectively shrink wrapping the window. Then trim the excess and this window is done. Now, after you have your windows in good shape and your doors insulated well and all the cracks on the outside of the home taken care of, now it's time to look to the inside of the home in ways that you can conserve on energy. Now, for years, people have known that ceiling fans are an excellent way to make your home feel cooler during the summer months. Now we found an invention that looks like a ceiling fan, works like a ceiling fan, but also is an excellent source of heat. The inventor is Ken Riker. We spoke with him earlier this morning. Well, Ken, it really does look like a regular ceiling fan, but how does the room conditioner actually work?
Well, it works two ways for summer and winter. Let's talk about the winter time. We all know that heat rises, so what we actually did is that we draw the heat off the ceiling with a special made impeller motor that pushes the air over one heating element, then it goes over another heating element, and then as soon as it exhausts, it pushes the air upward along the ceiling, down along the wall, the floor, and then it comes back and gets reheated again. And it does that 360 degrees in the room.
Okay, so just constant circulation to keep
All the
everything
time.
evenly heated.
Right.
Okay, now can you install this where an existing ceiling fan is?
Oh, yes.
Anything different in terms of the current need?
This uses the same 3 wires that you would normally use for a ceiling fan. So if you had a ceiling fan, you could take it down and hook it up. Or
Okay.
a light fixture would be the same. Right.
Okay, all right. Now, about operation on this now, and see you have the remote control. Some of those can be kind of tricky. How about this one?
This one's quite unique. We call it the world's simplest to use remote. You press the power button, press the heat button, set the temperature, and that takes care of you during the wintertime. During
Okay.
the summertime, you just press the fan button and press high, medium, or low. That takes care of it. So it gives you 365 days of total usage.
Oh, great. Okay, what about the operation of the light itself?
The light's quite unique. It gives you 150 watts of illumination, but it only uses 30 watts of energy.
Okay, all right, now energy usage. When you're talking about a heating element of sorts, people think of a lot of usage. How much does this cost to run?
Well, what makes this so unique, because everything in the room heats up, the wall, ceiling, and the floor, that it constantly, the heating elements gradually turn off until you only use one, which is about 5 cents an hour. Not very much.
Oh, no, that's pretty reasonable there. What size room, though? I mean, how big of a room could this handle?
It's designed to take care of a large room, which is 20 feet by 20 feet by 8 feet tall. It's a total
Okay.
cube, so if you bring it in or out.
Okay, so that's really larger than a room that we're in here. then.
Absolutely.
That's
It
great. All right.
works very well.
Well, it sounds good. I'm looking forward to learning more about it and seeing it actually work. And if you want to know some more information about this product or any product that we have on our show, check out our website at DannyLipford.com. We'll be right back.
Now let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out the best new products. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Many times when we're selecting our best new product of the week, we find an item that'll make just a perfect gift. Here it is. It's called the Husky Jump Start System. Basically, it's a battery with a handle. And what it'll allow you to do in the event that you have a little car trouble as far as your battery going down, it'll recharge your battery and jump start your car. Here's how it works. You have the little cables on each side that fit right into the handle part of it. You hook this right to your battery, and a short time later, you can crank your car or truck up. Now, if you're going camping or fishing or to the beach and you want a few little accessories around, like your fan and your radio or your television or anything that'll work off a 12-volt DC system, you can plug it in right here and it'll take care of that for several hours. Or if you're stuck by the road and need a little light, or you're camping, trying to set that tent up in the dark, have a little light built right in below the handle here. Now, to recharge this after your car is cranked, you can plug it right into the cigarette lighter and then right into the front of this to recharge this unit within just a few hours. Or you can plug it in your garage or any outlet in your home and it'll charge it up as well. Now, to give you an idea of how strong or how weak the battery may be, you can push the little test button here and it'll tell you if it's low or full or fully charged. And the total cost of this, because it does make a great gift, is less than $50 and it's from Husky. Welcome back. So far we've looked at several new gadgets that will help you save water and energy around your home, but we didn't want to neglect a few products and methods that have been around for a long time. Now this one can really help you save on your heating and cooling bill. It's called a setback thermostat. These units install fairly easily and replace existing mechanical thermostats. There are a number of models available for under $100. Now, these devices allow you to program your heating and cooling system to maintain different temperatures at different times depending on your schedule. If no one is generally home at your place during the work week, then you can have your setback thermostat adjust your heating and cooling to a less comfortable temperature, and then before you get home in the afternoon, it'll bring the temperature back to where it's a nice comfortable level. Now, another area of your heating and cooling that many homeowners neglect is regularly changing the return air filter. Regardless of what kind you have, washable or disposable, it has to be cleaned or replaced at least once a month in order for your system to operate efficiently. If you haven't had your system checked recently by a professional heating and cooling contractor, I would take care of that soon. Most companies will perform an inspection and cleaning of your system for a nominal fee. Then at the start of each heating and cooling season, also have your system serviced. No matter how efficient your heating and cooling system may be in your home, you won't realize much of a savings unless your home is properly insulated. Hot and cold can transfer through your floors, your walls, and your ceiling if you don't have sufficient insulation to block that transfer. Now, there's very little you can do in an existing home as far as your walls are concerned. But if you have a home that has a crawl space or an attic, these are areas that can be checked very easily. The major appliances in your home are the next big energy user next to your heating and cooling systems. Here's a few things you should consider. Water heaters, whether gas or electric, should be drained periodically to remove the sediment that can hamper efficiency. Now, if they're in an unheated space, the addition of an insulating blanket will increase the efficiency as well. In your laundry room, be sure the space under and behind your washer and dryer is clean and free of dirt and debris. Now, that's usually where you find those missing socks. Also, clean the exhaust duct that leads from your dryer to the outside. This will not only make these appliances more efficient, they'll last a lot longer. Your refrigerator can benefit from a simple cleaning as well. The cooling coils behind or under the refrigerator will operate a lot better without a coating of dust. Also, check and clean the rubber gasket around the refrigerator door to make sure you're getting a good seal. A solution of water and baking soda will clean the gasket well and keep them pliable too.
Now let's go outside for Around the Yard. Lawn and garden tips you can use straight from the experts. Brought to you by TimberTech Engineered Decking Systems. Less work, more life.
I'm with Tricia Craven-Worley, and we're in an area between San Diego and Los Angeles, a very hilly home site. And I think if the homeowners here wanted vegetables, they had to go with a raised bed.
Well, they didn't. They used the way the ground slopes very, very well. You know, Danny, they started with a very important thing, and that is the frame that they did used an interlocking system, which gives it a lot of support, and it's not going to pull apart.
Yeah, that's got to be important when you're talking about putting a lot of soil in there. But I also like the way that they've made it narrow enough that you can really get in here and work on these plants.
Also a very important point, because it's narrow enough that you can reach this side from this side and just go around and work on the other side, not have to actually get into the box itself. And also because we're on a slope, it's almost at waist level.
Yeah, that makes a big difference when you're trying to take care of everything and maintaining it. Now, being out in the country, I guess we're having some problems with some rabbits here.
Yeah, I think the rabbits come in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and bring all their friends. So they put this up to keep the wandering animals out. And you know, another thing that a lot of homeowners do, Danny, in this area is once they build the box, they put in a layer of chicken wire, and then after they put the chicken wire there, then they put in the soil and the other things that they need, like amendments and steer manure.
Now, speaking of the soil, that has to be one of the most important aspects of the raised beds, because, you know, whatever you put in there, that's what's going to determine the success of all the plants.
A very important point, because these plants are totally dependent on what the homeowner puts in. So it's very, very important to use an organic matter. Mulch is really good to keep the moisture in and also to keep the weeds out.
Well, they must be doing a good job, because these plants look great.
Good enough to eat.
Now, if you'll use a few of the ideas that we've shared with you this week, you'll not only help us save our country's resources, but you'll be saving a few of your own resources as well. Now, one last tip, if you have a fireplace like this that has a damper, most of them do, when you're not using the fireplace, close that damper off so that all of the heated and cooled air you have inside won't escape up the chimney. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.